Welcome into Believe Me right here on Stadium. My name is Cam Rogers. So great to be with you here on this Friday evening. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. And hello to Brandon Lang, BrandonLang.com, Clay Harbor, former NFL tight end. Gentlemen, big show on tap. We are talking about the NFL. We're going through every single division. We will make our best bets for each of these divisions. Of course, we've got the NFL schedule now out as well. So a lot going on. What's going on, guys?
Go, Clay.
All right. No, it's a beautiful thing. The schedule's coming out today. You know, we got the NBA playoffs, but, you know, I'm an NFL guy. Former tight end, former draft pick, B. Lang, 10 touchdowns, played in over 100 games. I love talking NFL football. This is my stuff. And, I'm definitely going to pick up a couple of games here on B Lang.
Yeah, your Phoenix Suns look really good the other day. Number love for you, baby.
Well, hey, they came through the last couple games. I was just a game off here.
Well, it's been a home and home series so far, but I'll try to hang with Clay in the NFL. I'm not a fan of some teams, and I think their run comes to an end. I got a couple sleepers as well. Perfect. And then just in fuego at BrandonLang.com in the NBA playoffs last night, 5 in a row with Golden State in game 5 over the Lakers, hit 5 in a row, 8 of my last 9. So it's been a pretty epic run. By the way, going into, again, we're taping on Thursday, obviously, but going into Wednesday night's games, the team that had won the game has covered 13 games in a row. So take the point spread and just throw it out the window. Mm-hmm. At the last 13 NBA playoff games, you just pick the winner. They've covered 13 in a row. And then last night you had both the Knicks laying points cover. You had Golden State lay points and covers. 15 straight NBA playoff games. The team that won has covered the number. Pretty epic.
Wow.
But keep an
Pretty
eye
amazing.
out.
And I think the logic behind that too, Brandon, is that when a team realizes they're going to lose, they save themselves for the next game because, of course, this is a series.
Yeah.
It's not one game elimination, right?
And some free throws.
Just look at this real quick. The Lakers were up 3-1. They went to Memphis. Memphis was depleted. They got blown out. Then they came back home and took care of business. The same situation against Golden State. They just lay down in that road clincher game and go, we'll go back home. It's amazing the rhythm and patterns we have in the playoffs right now. I'm anxious to watch these games on Thursday night.
We will pick more games on this show, but this week it's NFL focused. So let's get into it, guys. Clay, we start with you. AFC East. Buffalo Bills are the favorites. We have talked about this division before. Plus 140 for the Bills. Jets with Aaron Rodgers, plus 230. The Dolphins trading for Jalen Ramsey over the offseason, plus 290. And then long shots are the Patriots at 721, re-signing Jonathan Jones. That's big. And, of course, bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster at the wide receiver position. Clay, I think you're a Jets guy this year. Am I wrong?
I like the Jets, and you're getting more value there. Quinnen Williams, obviously, B. Lang was talking about before. What happened when Tom Brady came to the Buccaneers? What happened? You go back to Peyton Manning when he came to the Denver Broncos. These teams that have these defenses in place, they have these rosters in place. These veteran quarterbacks, he's got his offense. Aaron Rodgers got his offense. He's got more weapons. He's got a defense behind him. I love Josh Allen. I love Stefon Diggs. But bringing Aaron Rodgers into the situation, I think for me, they're my favorite. And you're getting odds there. So you got to go with the Jets right here.
Brandon?
Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott should be managing a Wendy's in Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, they're as clueless as any two people. And we see it now back-to-back years where they had the better team and weren't able to get it done. And management just sticks with them, and that's a dead-end road. Belichick's just hanging on to get the most wins record. He's going to ride off into the sunset and play his chop golf that I've heard he can't play dead in the Western, but he likes the game. I can't agree with Clay more. It's literally lined up for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Peyton did it at Denver the first year. He lit up the scoreboard like Baghdad, but best offense history of the NFL. The next year they had the down year, he got injured. Then the next year they won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady goes down first year with that defense, wins the Super Bowl. And now here's Aaron Rodgers going into New York with a great defense. So they're absolutely my pick to win the AFC East. And I think they win the AFC East pretty comfortable.
You get that bonus $1.90 too on the plus money there. So why not actually $1.30, with the Jets? I'm with you guys. I like it. I like the logic. I think this is going to be a very competitive division though. So we shall see. Let's go to the NFC side of things, Brandon. NFC East division winner. You're laying some juice here with the Eagles minus 120, Dallas at plus 185, the Giants 6-1, Commanders 11-1 to win the division. Again, we've talked about this before, and Brandon, you of course know, and Clay, tough to repeat in the NFC East. So maybe some value there, Brandon, plus 185 with Dallas.
Yeah, but I'm going to go even better value with the New York Giants plus 6-1. Absolutely. As you said, no one's repeated in that division. The obvious play is Dallas, but I don't care. Listen, Kellen Moore had to go. Kellen Moore could be the most overrated offensive coordinator in the NFL. And he runs when he should throw. He throws, he runs. I'm amazed he kept his job for as long as he did. It's the curse of Jerry Jones. It just is. You come in, him and Jimmy Johnson probably would have won 7 Super Bowls if his ego wouldn't have gotten in the way. And I think just that curse, the lingering course, the Tony Romo fumble on the snap, and then he picks up the fumble, and he's going in, and he's barely gets tripped. The Cowboys are cursed. I think the G-men at 6-1 are worth a look as far as that value is concerned. D. Jones, playoffs last year, big one against Minnesota when they ran into Philadelphia. I like the G-men at 6-1.
Pretty good draft, Clay. Of course, Saquon Barkley looking for that deal. What do you think?
All right, so you got to go with my fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. You got to go with Philip Eagles. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, this guy got paid, but they keep revamping this roster. I'm not even going to talk about A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I'm not going to talk about Dallas Goedert, in my opinion, the second best tight end in the NFL. I'm not going to talk about the wide. They just stole DeAndre Swift from the Lions during the draft.
Right.
They gave him a 5th-round pick. 4th-round pick. This guy was the 35th pick in the draft. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. Rashad Penny, if this guy stays healthy, he's only played in half his games he's been in the league. He's second in the league in yards per carry. They just lost Miles Sanders, and they got better running backs. This offensive line, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, they're revamped. Jason Kelsey's back. His defense, Brandon Graham. You add Jalen Carter to that D-line. They lose Javon Hargrave. They got better with Jalen Carter. You lose a safety, you get Sidney Brown. You get in Terrell Edmonds in the backfield. This team, you re-sign Darius Slay somehow, and you keep both your cornerbacks. This team is going to win, but if you want some value, I see where B. Lang's coming in with the G-men. Brian Dable, my former tight end coach. This guy's a genius. He knows how to coach football. Not the flashiest guys. He's going to know how to coach Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. They got Paris Campbell. They drafted Jalen Hyatt. They traded for Darren Waller. The G-men at 6-1, I love them because if the Eagles don't win, it's the G-men. Like you said, the Cowboys curse. No way. So Eagles, if you want the safe bet, if you want to get some value, hey, go with the G-men. I think they're trending in the right direction. Evan Neal is a guy that's going to have a big year this year, the number 1 draft pick last year for him. I think he's going to improve, going to get more protection for Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes is going to continue to get better in that defensive line. Dexter Lawrence, some of those guys can play. 2
things on why I am with the Giants here. 1, Darren Waller is now in town. That is huge for that offense. He will be a big part of that offense. 2, the Eagles, based off of last year's records, of course, have the most difficult schedule in the NFL this season. Now, past performance doesn't indicate future performance in this scenario, but I'll go with the 6-1 number there with the Giants, guys. All right, let's talk about the AFC North. Very interesting here. Clay, we'll go to you. Bengals plus 115, Baltimore plus 250 with Lamar Jackson in town, of course. The Browns plus 350, Steelers plus 650. Is this down to Baltimore and Cincinnati for you, Clay?
I think it's Baltimore. I love what they did. They brought in Roquan Smith, the former Chicago guy, buddy of mine. Roquan can play. He's going to be the staple in that defense. You know what? Lamar Jackson's never had weapons. This guy has no weapons, man. This guy is throwing the ball to himself. He's running the ball. Now he has Zay Flowers, in my opinion, the top receiver in the draft. You bring in Odell Beckham, who's still got juice. He's still making plays. And you pair them with Mark Andrews. Okay, I think this team, J.K. Dobbins running the football, I think Baltimore is a full team. Lamar Jackson, former MVP, he got his money. I think he's going to return to MVP form. I'm liking Baltimore for some value here.
Plus 250. What do you think, Brandon?
I want to ask Clay, what'd you do with all that money, by the way?
What are you talking about?
All that money your mama gave you for singing lessons. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm going to tell you, listen, I agree with Clay wholeheartedly. Baltimore was so close the last 2 years to really running away with the division. And the last 2 years, the injuries just have depleted this football team. The nucleus of what Harbaugh has to deal with is phenomenal. The weapons they've added for Lamar. Now Lamar doesn't have to shoulder everything. He's got his new contract. I think they lost, even being depleted, they lost 5 games by 3 or less. The year before that, they lost like 6 games by 3 or less.
Right.
This team stays healthy. They are a beast. Cincy I like, but Cincy seems to just kind of plod along during the regular season. Then they get in the playoffs, and then they just flat out make some noise. Baltimore stays healthy. They're definitely the pick in that division. I agree with Clay.
Yeah,
I love the value. Plus 250, OBJ, Nelson Aguilar, Lamar Jackson happy now. He's not playing on the tag this season. So I'm going with the Ravens, plus 250, my team as well. Brandon, let's talk about the NFC North. And Clay, I'll be excited to hear your thoughts on the Bears at plus 350, but the Lions are the favorites at plus 160, by the way, playing on opening night against the Chiefs. Vikings plus 225, Packers behind everybody else plus 425. This is a tough one, Brandon. What do you think?
Wow, what a Thursday night game to open it up. Dan Campbell in Detroit in prime time. Tell me the Lions haven't made a leap that the NFL puts the darlings of last year's run late in the season. And it was a shame because they went down to Carolina late in the year and they completely no-showed and the Panthers buried them. And that was the game that cost the Lions the playoffs. They're loaded. They're filthy. Down year for Green Bay. I think Chicago is competitive at times, but I still don't believe in them. And as long as Kirk Cousins, as you like that quarterback over at Minnesota, I don't like Kirk Cousins either. I'm all in on Detroit. Since Dan Campbell took over, they've gotten better every year. They haven't had a good season and then kind of laid off. Every year he's changed the culture. Every year they've gotten better. Every year with our boy Goff at quarterback. I am all in on the Detroit Lions, not because I'm from Michigan, but I just think they're the best team in that division. They were at the end of last year, and I think that carries over into this year.
Clay, this is a tough pick here. You've got Detroit at plus 160. When was the last time they were the favorites to win this division? What do you think?
I like Detroit because I like Dan Campbell. I mean, I really do like that roster. I didn't mind the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, the Jack Campbell pick. I think both of them can play. Their offense with Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jared Goff actually was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Say what you will about him. But I want to get some more value. So I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I know a lot of people are counting them out, but you got Kirk Cousins still. You still got Jefferson, Justin Jefferson. You still got Jordan Addison they just drafted, and you got Dalvin Cook. I mean, come on. These guys can play. I think their value there, but the pick I like the most with the most value is the Bears because I think you're getting a lot of value. And if Justin Fields picks up his throwing, if he can start showing that he can throw the football, they can easily win this division. I mean, obviously, you bring in these weapons, DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney now. Good draft pick with Roshan Johnson, the Texas running back, behind, obviously, Bijan Robinson. I think there's a big opportunity here for the Bears. You signed Terrell Edmonds. You signed TJ Edwards. You bring in some big players on this team, and I think they're set up for a run. If Justin Fields can throw the football, I like the Bears for some value here. Chicago Bears.
Interesting. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if the Lions are ready for prime time yet, guys. We'll see what happens in that opening game. Brandon, I'm with you with Kirk Cousins. He stinks ATS. I hate betting on the Vikings, but I do actually like them to perhaps win the division at plus 225.
We're talking the regular season. Kirk Cousins is a great regular season quarterback. Once he gets to the playoffs, that's when Kirk Cousins can't win.
Right.
They were down 24-7 to Detroit in Minnesota and beat them, and then went into Detroit, and Detroit slaughtered them. So you like that? You like that? He's just a weasel. He looks like a worm. He looks like the kid that went to the playground, and when he lost, he took his basketball with him. Well, if I lost, I'm taking my ball with me. You guys get another ball. I mean, he just looks like that little nerdy dad wore white tennis shoes and black socks. It's just this whole aura. It just makes me sick to my stomach. Go.
We're going to go to the AFC South for the sake of time here. Jacksonville, minus 155. Titans, plus 375. Colts, plus 575. Houston, plus 625. Clay, Vegas is telling you the Jaguars are far and away better than any other team in this division. What say you?
Duval. We're going with the Jaguars. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is coming back for his third season here, and he had a heck of a second half of the season. Won a playoff game, basically won 2 playoff games because that last game of the year against the Titans was a playoff game. You win, you in, you lose, you're out.
Yep.
So this guy's got some experience. They even played the Chiefs tough. They brought in Calvin Ridley, a move a lot of people forgot about. Why they didn't make many moves in free agency. As a team, they're the team that has the most players returning in the NFL, and almost returning over 90% of their roster, which is unheard of in the NFL. That's good. So these guys will know the system. Calvin Ridley added with Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. You bring back Evan Ingram. I love this team. I think they're going to go all the way. And then if you want to take a flyer, you want some value, I think Houston's got some good value.
Whoa.
Obviously, CJ Stroud, the draft pick, but this team at the end of the year was playing some football. I think they obviously Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, but this team is actually pretty good. And I think with D'Amico Ryans, they can win some games. It could shock some people.
Brandon, what do you think? Lay the wood with the Jags or something else?
Listen, I was at a bar a week ago. I'm single now, and there was an 8 at the bar. We had a nice vibe going. A 10 walked in. I said, you know what? That's just not realistic. I stayed with the 8. All Jags. I get Clay going with the Houston Texans, and you just want to go over and give it a shot. Let it go. Let her get a martini and let her go.
Move along.
So it's all Duval. It's all Jags. What a job Doug Peterson is. They probably should have beat KC in the playoff game last year after the big comeback against the Chargers. This team is going to be dangerous in the AFC against anybody. I'm all over the Jags in that division.
Yeah, I'll lay the 55 cents, if you will, here with the Jaguars. They are clearly the favorites in that division. Let's move to the NFC South, guys. Talk about the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, and Bucks in that order, favorite to long shot. Brandon, we go to you here. Is it Derek Carr's division now with the Saints?
Yes, I'm buying in. Their defense was fantastic last year. They just didn't have a quarterback. They didn't. I mean, they shut out Tampa Bay, for crying out loud. They just didn't have a quarterback. Veteran presence with that defense. I'm telling you, I'm all in on New Orleans in that division. Not a believer in Tampa Bay now that Brady's gone. Not a believer in Atlanta. Not a believer in Carolina. Although my second pick for value would be Carolina, but then again, they're starting a rookie quarterback. This is the Saints division to lose.
4 years, $150 million for Derek Carr. Clay, what do you think?
I like the thought there. I think Saints, like you said, Cam Jordan, you got some good players in that defense. I think there's some weapons there on offense, but if you want some value, stay with me here. I know this sounds a little crazy.
Atlanta
Falcons.
Yeah.
Obviously, Desmond Ridder, you don't know what you're going to get, but I think the kid can play. He showed a lot last year when he stepped in there. I said, okay, I'm not opposed to it. I was shocked that they stayed with him, didn't try to make any moves, but gets a full offseason. He's going to get better. I think Bijan Robinson is a player. I know a lot of people hated the draft pick. He can play in the slot. He can play outside at the ZRX. He can do so many things. He's going to open up this offense, and you put him with Tyler Algier, who's already averaging 5 yards a carry, a great running back in his own right. Drake London, young guy, getting better. I think overall this is a dangerous team, and I think if you want some value, I like the Atlanta Falcons here.
I will say this: Atlanta will be a tough out every single game this
They got
season.
tight
That
ends.
offense.
They trade for Jonnu Smith, and they got Kyle Pitts. This might be the best tight end room in the league. I love tight ends. You guys know I love my tight ends. Get the tight ends the ball.
I'm not surprised, Mr. Tight End himself. All right, guys, let's talk about the AFC West. Chiefs, favorites, -150. Then you've got some long shots here. Chargers, 3-1. Denver, +525. And the Raiders, with Jimmy Garoppolo in town, 10-1. Clay, favorites all the way with the Chiefs, the champs?
You know, the coach that drafted me is a wise man.
Andy.
His name is Andy Reid. Okay, obviously he's a smart guy. He drafted me, B-Lang. Obviously he knows his stuff. So Andy Reid, honestly, in all seriousness, unbelievable coach, unbelievable offensive coach. And I just got to say 2 words: Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You know, his brother may be, out forcing himself on poor, unassuming bartenders, but this guy can play. I know they lost Juju. I know they got Tony. They got a lot of guys that could step up, and it all comes down to Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. You still got those 2 guys. You're still going to win the division. You still have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Couple of minutes left here, Brandon. What do you think?
Yeah, as much as I can't stand them, as much as I can't stand watching Andy Reid coaching a food coma. Never saw a Chinese buffet he couldn't stop at. It's the Chiefs. There's nothing more to talk about.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. -150. Let's go to the NFC West. 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals. Brandon, the 49ers are -160, +250 for the Hawks, +550 for the Rams. Cardinals, 20-1. What do you think?
Free money. If I had a sleeper, I might lean toward the Rams. They got so banged up last year. Still with Aaron Donald and a nucleus to work with. I would say it's the Niners, but if you want value coming back with a healthy football team, it's the Rams and Sean McVay.
Clay, the Seahawks are kind of intriguing me. What do you think?
You said it, man. The Seahawks, Pete Carroll, they're gonna do some things this year. They had a great offseason. I think they got the steal of the draft, in my opinion, with Jackson Smith and Jigba to add to that wide receiver core with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Pretty impressive. Kenneth Walker III. They drafted Zach Charbonnet, not Chardonnay, Charbonnet. So, they got some weapons. Geno Smith can play. The guy had a heck of a comeback year, comeback player of the year last season. I like the defense. Bobby Wagner's back with them. Jamal Adams, Devin Weatherspoon, another nice pick that they got. 2 big-time players added to that team. I think the Seahawks I played there. You don't want to play there. That's a tough place to play. I like the Seahawks.
I'm with you, Clay. I love Seattle in this spot as well. We got to run, guys. This has been Believe Me right here on Stadium. For Brandon Lang and Clay Harbor, my name is Cam Rogers. Good luck to your bets this weekend. Happy Mother's Day. We'll talk to you next week.